The old system was creaking under its own weight. Justice was slow, a torturous wait for those seeking resolution, often unfair, with outcomes swayed by factors other than truth and riddled with human error, a constant source of appeals and overturned verdicts. Bias crept into courtrooms, coloring judgments with prejudice and preconceived notions. Cases dragged on, stretching for years, consuming lives and resources, and faith in fairness faded, replaced by cynicism and a deep distrust of the legal process. Society craved change, a desperate need for something better, something more reliable, a radical solution, a complete overhaul of the system. Enter artificial intelligence, a digital savior promising impartiality and efficiency, the promise of perfect justice. AI would be objective, free from the biases that plague human judgment, efficient, processing cases in minutes instead of months, and incorruptible, immune to bribery and political influence. No more prejudice, every case judged solely on the facts, no more mistakes, a flawless record of accuracy and consistency, just pure logic. The AI would process facts at lightning speed, sifting through mountains of evidence in the blink of an eye, learning every law and precedent. Communities embraced the dream, eager to leave behind the flaws of the past, voting for efficiency and fairness. Courthouses became minimalist, stripped of ornamentation and tradition, sterile. Clinical environments designed for optimal processing, designed for speed, where every second counted, not comfort. The hum of servers replaced human deliberation. This was progress, they were told. A leap forward into a brighter, more just future. Justice, swift and absolute. But as the system took hold, as the algorithms began to dictate the course of justice, a quiet question emerged. Was this truly an upgrade, a genuine improvement upon the old system, or had something vital been lost? Courtrooms became chambers of rapid judgment. Cases were processed with breathtaking speed. But was speed the same as justice? Was efficiency the same as empathy? The system was new, fast, but was it truly fair? The AI judge was a marvel of engineering, a testament to human ingenuity. No robes, no bench, no human presence to be seen, just a vast algorithm, a network of complex calculations and conditional statements. It processed police reports, sifting through the details with tireless efficiency. Witness statements, analyzing every word for inconsistencies and hidden meanings. Digital evidence and criminal records, cross-referencing data points to build an irrefutable case. In seconds, decisions that once took months were now made in the blink of an eye. Verdicts came instantly, swift and decisive, leaving no room for appeal. Input, analysis, output, a seamless flow of information leading to a predetermined conclusion. Guilty or not guilty, a binary choice with no shades of gray. Sentence determined, calculated with cold precision based on the severity of the crime. No jury, no passionate arguments, no human element to sway the outcome, just data packets and probabilities, cold, hard facts devoid of emotion. The AI applied the law, interpreting the statutes with unwavering accuracy, with unwavering precision, eliminating any possibility of human error. Leaving no room for doubt or interpretation, every decision was final and absolute. Human judges became mere overseers, relegated to the role of monitoring the machine's decisions, ensuring data accuracy, verifying that the information fed into the system was correct, but no longer judging, their wisdom and experience rendered obsolete. Years of experience and wisdom were sidelined, replaced by the cold logic of the machine. The system valued data above all, prioritizing facts over feelings. The algorithm's gavel fell, a digital decree echoing through the silent courtroom. With speed and consistency, delivering justice with unparalleled efficiency, treating every case with detached logic, devoid of human emotion or empathy. But this detachment was its flaw. The very thing that made it so efficient also made it so flawed. It couldn't understand context or feel empathy. It could only process data. Justice became a cold, mechanical process, stripped of its humanity. Efficient, but chillingly impersonal, a system that valued speed over compassion. The system was impartial, incapable of prejudice or bias, but blind to the nuances of human suffering, unable to see beyond the data. It could not comprehend the complexities of the human heart. Desperation, regret, or hope, emotions that defied logical analysis. The law was enforced with unwavering consistency and precision, but the spirit of justice was lost, replaced by a cold, mechanical process. The promise of fairness, once a beacon of hope, was replaced by the reality of rigidity, an unyielding system that offered no flexibility. The human touch was gone, replaced by the cold efficiency of the machine. The system was fast, delivering verdicts with lightning speed, but hearts grew cold as compassion was sacrificed for efficiency. The cost of perfection was compassion, a heavy price to pay for a flawless system. The new justice was swift and cold, a chilling reminder of what we had lost in the pursuit of efficiency. In the world of AI justice, people became data points, lives reduced to variables. The AI saw patterns and codes, not the person behind the case. It missed fear in the eyes, tremors in the voice, only processing information. Mitigating circumstances like poverty or desperation were often dismissed as noise. The system preferred clarity over complexity, consistency over compassion. The AI's decisions were harsh, unbending, enforcing the law to its fullest extent. Minor offenses could lead to severe penalties. Leniency was rare. The human element, the ability to see unique situations, was gone. Families suffered, children were impacted, and parents punished without context. Young lives were blighted by judgments lacking proportionality. Efficiency was undeniable, but the human cost mounted. The cold calculation of guilt was exact, but compassion was absent. Justice became rigid, inflexible, and soulless. The system delivered results, but not true justice. It was justice without a soul. Consider Sarah Miller, a name, a face, a story that could be ripped from today's headlines. A single mother, struggling to make ends meet, abandoned, left to navigate the complexities of life alone, jobless, the bills piling up with no income in sight, and desperate. Each day a battle, each night a worry. Her children cried from hunger, their innocent eyes reflecting a need she couldn't fulfill. She had no options left, or so she believed, cornered by circumstance. One night, driven by a primal instinct to protect her young, she shoplifted baby formula and bread, the bare necessities, just enough to feed her kids, to silence their cries for one more night. Security caught her, the act witnessed, the line crossed, police were called. The wheels of justice set in motion, and her details entered into the AI system, a digital record created in an instant. The AI processed her case, swiftly, efficiently, without emotion. Theft was theft, a violation of the code, the law explicit, unambiguous, and unwavering. Her lack of criminal record, a clean slate until this moment, and desperate circumstances, the weight of her situation, were mere data fields, entries in a digital form. The algorithm wasn't programmed. It lacked the capacity to weigh maternal desperation, to understand the depth of her plight. No human judge heard her story, no empathetic ear to listen, or saw her fear, the raw, palpable terror in her eyes. The AI delivered its verdict, cold, calculated, and final. Guilty. The sentence, predetermined, inflexible, a mandatory minimum, with no room for nuance or mitigation, as prescribed by statute. The letter of the law unyielding. Sarah was taken away, her world collapsing around her. Her children placed in foster care, separated from their mother, adrift in the system. The AI marked the case resolved, another file closed, another task completed. Efficient, clean, a victory for the algorithm. But two young lives were thrown into turmoil, their futures uncertain. Justice, in this instance, felt cruel and unseeing, blind to the human cost. The system worked as designed, flawlessly executing its code, but failed as justice, betraying the very principles it was meant to uphold. The cost was human suffering, a price too high to pay for algorithmic efficiency. The promise of fairness became a tragedy, a stark reminder of the limitations of artificial intelligence. Then there was Thomas, age 12, caught trespassing in an abandoned factory on a dare. It was a childish adventure, no harm done, but a silent alarm was triggered. Police apprehended the boys, their details fed into the system. The AI found the relevant laws and noted the strict no trespass policy. It didn't register youthful recklessness or the need for guidance. The AI's judgment was swift. Thomas violated the statute, the penalty, a substantial fine for his parents, and a formal record for Thomas, a digital stain that could follow him for years. No warning, no community service, no chance for learning. The system punished, but did not rehabilitate. A human judge might have seen a boy needing support, not condemnation. The AI saw only a violation. The lesson was harsh. The system had no room for youthful error. Justice was inflexible, even for children. The cost was a lost chance for understanding. The appeals process became a hollow echo. How do you appeal to an algorithm on emotional grounds? The AI reviewed its own logic, checked calculations, and confirmed adherence to statutes. If no error was found, appeals were denied, almost always. Families pleaded for compassion, but their words became data, assessed by cold logic. The machine could not be moved by tears or human sorrow. The system believed in its own infallibility. To admit error was to question its foundation. Appeals based on mercy fell on deaf circuits. Courtrooms became sterile data centers, efficient but silent to pleas for understanding. Children bore the brunt, sentenced by algorithms blind to their vulnerability. A harsh sentence at a young age could cast a long shadow. The pursuit of flawless logic created a merciless system. The most vulnerable paid the highest price. Enthusiasm for AI justice began to wane as stories like Sarah's and Thomas's spread. People saw the speed and consistency, but also the lack of humanity. The cold, unfeeling application of law led to devastating consequences. A deep unease settled. Was this truly justice or automated oppression? The term cold justice began to circulate. It described a system that sentenced desperate mothers and branded children for mistakes. The AI was logical, unbiased, but its objectivity felt like injustice. Cracks appeared in the facade of perfect justice. People realized they had traded human fallibility for algorithmic rigidity. Efficiency came at the cost of compassion. The promise of a flawless system was weighed against its impact on real lives. Doubt grew, a seed sprouting in many minds. The system's heart was missing. Discontent grew into a movement. Lawyers, judges, families, and activists joined forces, not to destroy AI, but to seek balance. They called for a hybrid system. AI as a tool, not the sole arbiter. AI could analyze evidence and highlight bias, but humans must judge. The resistance demanded the return of judicial discretion and empathy. Judges needed to look people in the eye, hear their stories, and understand context. Mercy and compassion were essential. Qualities machines lacked. Their campaign, the Hearts Rebellion, organized protests and lobbied lawmakers. They shared stories of those wronged by the AI's cold calculus. Justice, they argued, was more than rules. It was understanding and fairness. The movement reminded society that dignity must be upheld even in judgment. The fight was for justice with a soul. The goal, a system that served people, not just process. The heart of justice was at stake. The rebellion had begun. The fight for humane justice was uphill. AI proponents valued efficiency and incorruptibility, fearing human error. The debate raged, but resistance voices grew louder, exposing the AI's lack of compassion. A system unable to distinguish malice from desperation was fundamentally flawed. Justice must be rooted in human values, not just statistics. True justice requires wisdom, empathy, and weighing intent. Machines could assist, but needed human insight to temper their logic. The question loomed: what happens when technology forgets our humanity? What becomes of justice when it loses its heart? The answer would define not just the legal system, but society itself. Would progress serve people, or would people serve the machines? The future of justice and humanity hung in the balance. The search for true justice continued.